Well, let's start with developments in the conflict in Gaza. And the Israeli government has threatened to destroy all cross-border tunnels, regardless of any possible ceasefire. Israel has also called up more reservists and requested more military supplies from the United States. Well, Israel's Prime Minister held a meeting of his cabinet and made it clear he's determined the offensive will continue. And it is continuing. These are the latest pictures of wounded children being brought into hospital. This, the 24th day of the offensive. And diplomatic efforts to end it apparently have stalled, all because of the cost in human lives still rising. This was the result of an early morning attack on a house in Gaza City. It wounded several Palestinians and left a smoking crater. Imtiaz Taib is live for us there. Now, how intense is the situation now, Imtiaz?
Well, Sammy, it's relatively calm, and I do want to stress the word relatively. We understand that there's been fighting along Gaza's eastern border with Israel, and within the last hour or so, there was an airstrike here in Gaza City in which 2 people died. Now, I am currently at the Shifa Hospital, which is the main hospital here in Gaza City. It sees perhaps the most patients whenever we see the kind of violence that has gripped the Strip over the past several days, and indeed over the past several weeks. And when there are moments of calm like this, it really gives medical professionals a time to take stock and see just what sort of supplies they have and just what they need. In fact, I've been given permission to show you what's inside these cupboards here. You can see that there's saline and some other fluids as well, but it's not a lot. When you consider just yesterday, on Wednesday, at one point within 30 minutes, 300 patients came in here because they suffered from various wounds from fighting in the Jazeera area, which is again on the eastern border. It really gives you a sense of just the kind of strain that this facility is on. In fact, I was speaking with one of the directors here, and he says if the fighting doesn't stop, if the violence doesn't stop, within a few days he could run out of medical supplies altogether.
Now, Imtiaz, at the same time, of course, we've heard that the Israeli government says this offensive will continue. Tens of thousands of people, though, may be left in the streets of Gaza, according to Chris Gunnis, without food, without water, and without shelter. Why?
Well, look, here's the thing. This is obviously a conflict zone. People are dying every day. People seriously injured every day. But there's also a huge humanitarian crisis here as well. There frankly just isn't enough safe places for people to go. Places that have been deemed safe, places like UN schools, which are shelters for people who are fleeing conflict, have been targeted now twice. People losing their lives in these attacks. People just don't know where to go. If anything, around what we understand is around only 40% of the Gaza Strip is relatively safe for people to stay in. But as we've been seeing time and again over the past several days, these areas which haven't really seen fighting in previous conflicts have this time. Now, you add to the fact that there's a severe power crisis here in Gaza ever since the attack on Tuesday on a main power grid. There's no electricity. That makes, of course, people's lives very miserable within their own homes, but it has a knock-on effect. To put it quite plainly, no electricity means no water in Gaza. The reason that's the case is because pumps are required to get water out of the ground and indeed into people's homes. And so with no electricity, people don't have access to water. Without access to water, that means that they're prone to very serious health problems. So again, this humanitarian situation only getting worse.
All right, thanks so much. Imtiaz Taib there, live for us from Gaza.